What's up, y'all? It's Deep Talk with T, episode 32. Today's topic of discussion is mining for inspiration. It's not just a given that you're going to be inspired. So what do I mean by mining for inspiration? You have to literally, like a motherfucker like a miner, like a coal miner, goes in with a pick into the tunnels, into the darkness, with his headlight on, looking for inspiration or looking for coal or whatever he's looking for. You have to go into your tunnel. You have to go in to your zone. And you have to mine for inspiration. You have to look for the feeling that you feel when you're inspired. You have to think and focus on things that are inspiring you. And it doesn't mean just doing the same thing that you've been doing, because a lot of times when you get locked into a position, when you get locked into a certain routine, it can become uninspiring because there's no novelty to it. It becomes rote. And so you have to look for the things that are novel about it. You have to look for what's inspiring you about it. And that is what mining for inspiration is in anything. In your relationships, if you don't feel inspired, you have to look at them and see, is this serving me anymore? Or am I just not appreciating what I have? If you're not being served by something, then it may be time to sever ties with it or reposition it in your life. If it was holding a position that was needing to inspire and it's not inspiring anymore, then it can't be that anymore because it's not fulfilling that. If you chose a career that was because it was inspiring to you, and now it's not inspiring you anymore, and you have to be inspired by your career, then that position or that particular path can't hold that position anymore of career, because that's not doing it for you. And it's with anything in life. If you can't be disciplined about something, then you'll never know what the fruits of the labor and the value of being disciplined are. That's one thing. And that doesn't negate mining for inspiration, because mining for inspiration requires discipline. It requires you to not need to feel inspired already to go out and act in accordance and in alignment with what you believe, what you think, what you feel, what your core values are, and who you want to be in the world. Because not everybody always feels like a super person, but the people who are like super people in the world, they show up whether or not they feel like being that person or not, because they don't always feel like it. And part of that is cultivating a routine where you do feel like it more often than you don't. And that bringing that person to the table is more habitual than it is like a choice. You make the choice every day, but at a certain point, the choice becomes automatic. I'm going to show up and be the person who has a heightened level of awareness, both to the people and the phenomena around me, as well as to myself and the energy I'm projecting and the things that I'm thinking and the feelings I'm indulging in and the ways that I'm allowing myself to behave. So mining for inspiration, it is what keeps depression at bay in some ways too, because if you don't feel inspired, then a lot of times you will slip into depression. And there's no one coming to save you. You have to recognize that and own that. That can't be something that you use to wallow in. If no one's coming to save you and you're sinking, you have to save yourself. And there's no other way to do that but to fight tooth and nail for it. Not just for your survival, but so you can thrive. If you're at a point where just surviving is a fight, then you can't even think about thriving. But you also don't want to lock yourself into a habit of making that your reality if you don't have to. And in this day and age, nobody really has to. We've come a long way from being on the prairie hunting for our food in groups and packs and trying to figure out what the world is looks like and shit. We have a pretty good idea, and we just got to do a better job of interacting with it and amongst ourselves. And if you have a whole bunch of people who are inspired and aware of their own mortality and tapped in and accountable to their highest vision and follow their own unique path and seek out enlightenment in every moment, to seek to unearth some truth and all these other things that I talk about in all these videos. They keep learning. If you have these principles put into practice, into people, then you have a much more productive, much more fulfilled, and much more inspired society. So go out in the day and mine for inspiration. And every day. Love y'all.